What is up, gun enthusiasts? Greg Rowe Show Tactical. Well, in this video, as you can tell by the title, I'm just going to be giving you my opinion of a video that somebody sent me, asked if I would watch it and give my opinion on it. I typically don't do that, but I thought this was worth doing just to kind of show some of the things that I talk about on my channel that happen and some of the things that you won't get from me and you won't hear from me. And so I thought it was kind of important. As always, if you look on my channel, the only like negative videos I've ever done on anything were a response to Colion Noir, who did a video years ago about those guys in a hotel in Denver near the MLB All-Star game that were caught with all these, all this money and all these guns and things in their hotel room. And I told him that he was wrong because I had information that he didn't have, and I ended up being right and he ended up being wrong. I never heard a rebuttal, but it is what it is. I had to speak my mind on that because if you're going to be somebody who's going to be for us, you can't make us all look stupid by saying something stupid. And then obviously I did a video, a couple weeks ago or whatever about GBRS Group, DJ and Cole and Mike Glover from Fieldcraft, about how I don't support guys like that anymore because they're dirtbags, and I gave you the reasons why. Those are the only kind of negative videos I've ever done. I don't believe really in trashing people because we're all part of the 2A. We're all part of the community, and there's enough tyrannical people trying to strip us all of our rights that we kind of need to stay together, band together, and be stronger so that they can't strip those things away from us. So getting into it, this is a video from a company called T-Rex Arms. A lot of you guys will be familiar with them. They're a holster manufacturer. They make great stuff. I wouldn't say they're on the level of like Safari Land or whatever like that. Not as far as quality, but just as far as like how big they are. But they do make really nice custom products and have for a long time. They keep updating and upgrading their platform and their equipment and stuff, which I always appreciate innovation. So I like what they do. I like their company mission. I like the things I've heard from guys like Lucas, who's a co-founder. I've never, I don't have a problem with anybody over there. I feel like if I was in a room with them, I would probably get along with them because we have a lot of the same views on a lot of stuff. So just to start it out, I'm not trying to trash them or their company or anything like that. I just was asked if I would watch this and to give my opinion on it. And so I'm going to do that. I believe it's called something like 6 micro handguns, what we found out, or something like that. It's something that's been released in the last week, in which they take 6 micro pistols and draw from concealment, tell you what they think about the triggers, how they shoot, the reliability of them, how fast they can run them, reloads, all that kind of stuff, and try and give you the end user information to maybe help you make a choice on one of these guns if you may be looking at them. The first thing about it is, and within the first 5 minutes, Lucas says, the Glock 43X is the one that I would suggest. So in the first 5 minutes of this alleged unbiased video, where we're supposed to believe or think that we're getting, a real review of these 6 guns and we're going to get a real winner, we're already told that the Glock is the gun, right? And then through multiple points of the video, they say we're all Glock shooters. Maybe that's going to, play a part in how we see this and how we score and all that kind of stuff. So you hear it multiple times in the video. So you already know that Glock is the gun, right? So basically what we're watching this whole hour-and-a-half video for is to see which gun finishes second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place, and then finally 6th, right, in last place. So they shoot, 12,000 rounds through these 6 guns. They draw from retention. They kind of run a course and kind of put the guns through their paces and all that. And then they regroup, on a table, it looks like in the shop, and they kind of just sit around with these guns, and then they go through each individual gun, tell you what they like, what they didn't like, what they thought of it, and then they give their scores, and then at the end, obviously, tell you who the winner is. We already know Glock is the winner because they've already told us that multiple times. in the video. So we're just kind of looking to see how everybody else finishes. So they get to talking about the Glock 43X, and they're like, this is the most, platform we're the most comfortable with. This is the most familiar. We were able to run these guns and do things with them that we weren't able to do with everything else. Yes, of course, because you shoot Glock, right? I mean, that's, of course. They say that, Lucas and Brantley said they got some slide bite on their hands and whatnot. So, that's a knock, but, not a big deal type thing. And then they run through their score for the Glock. No surprises there. And then they get to the Springfield Hellcat, which I was kind of curious to hear what their thoughts were between, the Glock, the Hellcat, and the 365. The FN Reflex, to me, hasn't really been out enough. There's not enough people carrying it and whatnot for it to really kind of be in that same category. The Shield is kind of what it is. It's never going to overtake those guns, but it's always going to have its loyal fan base that like those guns. So I kind of wasn't about that one. And then obviously, like, the PSA Dagger is really, it's a Glock clone, right? So it could either be as good as it could not, but it's going to be very similar with a lot of things. So to me, I was like, about that. So they get to the Hellcat, and they kind of run through what they think about it. They agree that they said it's the most snappy pistol on the table, which I disagree with personally, but obviously that's personal preference type thing. And then Brantley says that mechanically this was the most accurate gun on the table. And then Lucas goes to say, well, as far as reliability goes too, this was the best gun on the table. They said they had 2 light primer strikes, and then like 1 failure to feed or failure to eject. I can't remember which it was, but for 3 total, 3 total malfunctions. Now, mind you, the Glock 43X, who they're crowning already as the champion, had 13 malfunctions. So over 4 times the amount of malfunctions as the Springfield Hellcat. And then they say that the two most important categories that a gun can have that you're going to shoot, carry, trust your life to is it has to be reliable and it has to be accurate. You have to be able to shoot it accurately, and it has to, every time you pull the trigger, it has to go bang, or else it's not a reliable gun. So the two most important categories that a firearm can have, they say that the Hellcat is the top gun on the table. We go through the scores at the end of the video. The Glock scores highest with, I believe, 22, and the Springfield Hellcat finishes dead last, 6th with 11.5. So we have a 22 and an 11.5. So basically they're saying that the Hellcat is half of what the Glock 43X is based upon these criteria. Okay, well, I don't give a shit about fast ability. I don't give a shit about reloads. I don't give a shit about, how it draws and all that kind of stuff. If you're telling me the 2 most important categories that a firearm has to have, needs to have, in order to be something that I would carry and trust my life to, or trust my family's life to, that it's the best gun on the table, and then you're going to tell me it's the worst gun on the table overall, I have a hard time understanding that. Like, I need someone to explain it to me like I'm 5, right? I'm sitting here doing the math, +2 and carry the 1, and I don't understand. I don't get it. I need someone to explain to me how you can tell me that this gun is the best gun on the table in the 2 categories that matter most, but overall it's the worst gun. And it wasn't like 22 to 18.5. It was 22 to 11.5. Literally half. And they expect us to take this video seriously and this evaluation seriously. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. I tell you guys that all the time on the channel. Like, there are so many people making videos and making content. You have to be careful where you get your content and your information from. If you're not going to go out and handle all these guns and shoot all these guns yourself, and you're trying to just simply watch YouTube to decide between 2 guns, a video like that can really fuck you. Because you're going, man, dude, the Glock is twice as good. It's not. I own it. Watch my YouTube channel. Watch my reviews. The Glock, the Hellcat has a better trigger, even though they said it doesn't. It does. It has better sights out of the box. It has better capacity out of the box. Better capacity options. factory OEM, it has better grip texture. It's a better gun. It really is a better gun. And they even say that it is, but then they say that it's not. So I don't understand. You know, the the selling point on the Glock has always been simplistic. You know, a lot of aftermarket support and reliability. Well, if I'm let's just put it this way: if I'm a new shooter and I'm somebody who's like, oh, I'm trying to buy a gun because I want to take my first class so that I can get my concealed carry permit, and you're telling me, you know, you can choose between the Glock 43X and the Springfield Hellcat, and you're telling me, well, don't get the Springfield Hellcat because we don't like it, but get the Glock 43X that you're going to have to add sights to, and it isn't as reliable as this one, and it doesn't have the magazine options that this one has, and it doesn't have the sights that this one has, and it doesn't have a better trigger than this one has, but just trust us, it's better. Like, how as a new shooter is that information helpful? I'm as somebody who creates content and shoots and owns guns and tries to be honest and unbiased with you guys, I have a hard time with that. Like, that's one of those things that just, like, it irks me. It just does. So if you want to watch the video, go ahead and watch the video. Like I said, it's about an hour and a half long, but you're going to end up hearing at an hour and 28 minutes what you heard at the 4-minute mark. And that's that the Glock is the gun. But then they go through, you know, reliability and accuracy and all this stuff, and the Hellcat's the best gun on the table, but in the end, the Glock's the best gun. But you're supposed to look at it as an unbiased, realistic video and evaluation of all these pistols. You know, it kind of is what it is. Another thing that bothers me about the video is they have red dots on all the guns, and they say that red dots are the future. You have to, you carry a red dot. I think that makes sense in certain situations, right? If you're shooting competition, if you're at the range, if you're running a course in your backyard or whatever, like, sure, all that stuff makes sense. But it's not practical and doesn't really make sense for a micro, like pocket pistol, because most defensive situations are going to happen within 3 to 5 feet. They're going to be 3 to 5 rounds and 3 to 5 seconds. Now, that's not 100% accurate, but that's just kind of a rule of thumb, right? If I'm somewhere and some 6'3", 230-pound dude pulls a knife on me and starts beating on me and trying to stab me, and I'm trying to hold him off and wrestle with him, what fucking good is a red dot on my pistol? I'm more than likely gonna just struggle to get it from here to fire. You're not gonna have a Zach Morris moment where you're like, time out, time in. Real life situations don't work that way. Most of the time you're not even gonna be able to get it up to acquire the sights. Maybe you will. I hope you will if you're in that kind of a situation, but to guarantee that you will be, it's just not realistic based upon FBI statistics, based upon police officers that I know that are friends, that are family. It's not accurate. So I just don't understand that, because I don't agree with it. I made a video a couple months ago about, if you have a striker fired pistol, they all have kind of like a back plate on the back. And if you turn the gun sideways, the back plate is more than likely lined up almost exactly, if not just a hair off of where the barrel is. So if you can just basically get that back plate center mass and pull the trigger, you're going to hit something. You don't even have to really acquire the sights, let alone a red dot. Right? Like, all the drills and everything they're running, all the things that I mentioned, being at a training course, being at a competition, being at a range, all the things that they run in this video, they're all controlled environments. Like, it's easy to pull out your gun, get it on target, present the same draw every time to locate your red dot. If you've never shot a red dot, or you're new to red dots, you know that there's a learning curve. It's not just simple. You don't just pull it out and say, boom, there it is. Like sometimes you'll present the gun and you won't see it, and you'll have to like tilt it or kind of search for it, and then you'll find it. You don't have fucking time to do that in a stressful situation. You don't have time to do that in a defensive situation when someone's trying to beat your ass or you're being jumped by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 guys. You're not gonna have time to do that. It just doesn't make sense to me on a micro pistol. It just doesn't. I just don't think it's accurate. I don't think that's good information because it's not realistic. Also, this Brantley guy in the video says at one point, like, friends don't let friends buy Hellcats. Like, there's a clear bias against Springfield. There's a clear bias for Glock. And therefore, to me, the ranking system can't be taken seriously. That's just how I feel about it. You know, you may disagree with me if you've seen it. You may watch it and disagree with me, but tell me I'm wrong, right? The most accurate, most reliable Hellcat, worst gun on the table. Glock, slide by, blah, 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 best gun. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's all I ask. Make it make sense. And Lucas says something about in the video too, like, we get all these questions all the time or comments in the thing where people are like, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. And he's like, but nobody ever backs up anything with, you know, facts or with any, you know, kind of context or whatever. Well, I just did. I'm using your exact words to tell you why you're wrong. You know, like I said, for me, the Hellcat is in the top 3 guns I own as far as reliability, as far as shootability, as far as concealability, as far as options. I can go, you know, 11 round flush. I can go 13, you know, extended mag. I can go 15 rounds OEM, you know, and I'm not buying these shitty Shield Arms mags that work half the time and don't. Like, something I would never suggest or trust my life to. You'll never hear me say that. I would much rather trust a 15 round OEM mag from Springfield over a Shield Arms 15 round mag that's a piece of shit. Like, if Glock intended that gun to be a 15 round gun, they would have made it a 15 round gun. This stuff isn't hard. I don't know why we're making it hard. So I don't know. That's it for me. Just some stuff that really bothered me in the video. Is it a fun video to watch? Yeah, absolutely. Does it look cool? Yes, it does. And I tell you guys that all the time. There's hundreds of thousands of tactical videos online of people doing shit that isn't realistic, using things in non-realistic situations, giving you information that's not realistic. It's out there if you want to find it. I just try not to create that kind of content. I just don't. So, you know, take it, leave it, like it, don't, whatever. Subscribe to the channel if you want. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Cool either way. Leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think about this video, what you think about these guns. If you've seen that video, let me know what you think about it. If you haven't and you're going to leave and go watch that, you know, feel free to come back and let me know what you think after watching it. And watching my video and seeing if you agree with that or if you agree with what I said, or, you know, maybe a little bit of both. It's all good. You know, open dialogue and conversation is always good. You know, we have that video and we have my video and we have differing opinions on stuff. You know, it's kind of like whatever you like. You know, if you're looking to find affirmation or somebody to reaffirm, you know, your belief or want in some kind of a product or a pistol or whatever, you'll be able to find it. You'll be able to find it. Does that make it right? No, it doesn't. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I have some other stuff I'm working on that'll get out here in the next couple weeks. So be on the lookout for that one. Thank you for watching the video. If you're a subscriber, thank you so very much. If you comment, if you give a thumbs up, I always appreciate that. As always, you don't have to do it. I'm not begging you. I'm not going to, you know, plead with you to do that. But if you do it or want to do it, I always appreciate it. And until the next one, I'm out of here.